Have you ever looked around at the world and felt a deep, unsettling feeling? A sense that things are not quite right. You see such beauty in a sunset, in the laugh of a child, in a simple act of kindness, but then you see such pain, such suffering and confusion. It makes you wonder, what if this life, the one we are living right now, isn't the beginning of the story? What if it's a chapter somewhere in the middle? Or maybe, just maybe, it's the consequence of a story that has already been written, a place we were sent to, a kind of afterlife. We are taught to think of life as a starting line, and death as the finish. But what if we have it all backwards? Consider this simple yet profound idea. What if our existence on this planet is a result of choices we made long ago, in a life we can no longer remember? Perhaps this world, with all its dazzling joys and its crushing sorrows, is a place of sorting, a cosmic waiting room, or even a schoolyard where old lessons are revisited. It is not heaven, that much seems clear on most days, but is it hell? For some, it certainly feels that way. The constant struggle, the feeling of being trapped in a cycle of work, worry, and fleeting moments of peace. It's a thought that can keep you up at night, staring at the ceiling and asking the universe, why am I here? Really, why? Think about the stories we tell ourselves. We believe we arrive as blank slates, innocent and new. But are we really? From the moment we are born, we seem to carry invisible baggage. Some are born into love and comfort, others into poverty and hardship. Some have a natural talent for music, while others struggle to carry a tune. It's as if we have been dealt a hand of cards before the game has even begun. This isn't to say we are doomed, not at all. But it does suggest that we are not starting from scratch. We are continuing something. We are living out a narrative that began long before our first breath. This idea changes everything, doesn't it? If life on Earth is an afterlife, then our purpose here shifts. It's no longer just about succeeding or accumulating wealth or even being happy. It becomes about understanding, about learning, about figuring out why we were sent here in the first place. What lesson did we fail to learn before? What debt are we here to repay? Suddenly, the daily grind, the challenges, the heartbreaks, they take on a new meaning. They are not random acts of a cruel universe. They are part of a curriculum designed just for us. The world becomes a classroom and we are all its students. There is an ancient word for this idea. It's called karma, a concept so simple yet so powerful. It means that every action has a consequence. Every choice we make sends a ripple out into the universe, and eventually, that ripple comes back to us. It's the universe's great balancing act. What if the life you are living today is the ripple from a previous existence? The sum total of all the love you gave and all the pain you caused. A perfect, inescapable form of justice. It's not about punishment, it's about learning. It's about experiencing the other side of the coin. This concept of karma suggests that we are not born with a clean slate. We arrive with a spiritual ledger filled with credits and debits we can't see. Your life circumstances, the family you were born into, the country you call home, the opportunities you are given, are not random accidents. They are the starting point for this chapter of your soul's journey. It's a challenging thought, especially when we see so much inequality. But it offers a strange kind of comfort too. It suggests there is an underlying order to the chaos, a reason for the seemingly senseless unfairness of it all. Imagine you were a king in a past life. You had immense power, but you used it selfishly. You ignored the pleas of the poor and lived a life of luxury while others starved. According to the law of karma, perhaps in this life, you are born into poverty. You are here to experience what it feels like to be hungry, to be overlooked, to be powerless. Not as a punishment from some angry god, but as a lesson from a wise teacher. The universe wants you to understand empathy, to feel compassion not as an abstract idea, but as a lived reality. It's the only way your soul can truly grow. So, when you look at your life, with all its unique challenges and blessings, you can ask a different kind of question. Instead of why me, you can ask, what is this trying to teach me? The difficult boss, the financial struggle, the health issue. What if they are not obstacles, but assignments? They are opportunities to develop patience, resilience, kindness, or forgiveness. This perspective transforms life from a battlefield into a schoolhouse. And every person you meet, every situation you face, becomes a part of your spiritual education, a chance to balance the scales. Now, you might say this all sounds very spiritual, very mystical. But what does science have to say? It's funny, the further scientists peer into the fabric of the universe, the more their questions sound like those of the ancient philosophers. Take the debate over free will. For centuries, we have believed we are the captains of our own ships, making choices freely. But some physicists might tell you a different story. They speak of determinism, the idea that every event, including every human action, is the inevitable result of what came before it. Think of it like this. If you knew the exact position and momentum of every single particle in the universe at the Big Bang, you could, in theory, predict everything that would ever happen. From the formation of galaxies to the cup of tea you chose to drink this morning. In this view, our feeling of making a choice is just an illusion. The script was already written. Your life, your decisions, your triumphs, and your failures were all set in motion billions of years ago. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? To think that we are simply actors reading lines from a pre-written play. This scientific debate mirrors the spiritual idea of karma or predestination in a fascinating way. Whether you call it karma or cosmic determinism, the underlying suggestion is the same. Our lives are shaped by forces beyond our immediate control. The past, whether it's a past life or the initial state of the universe, dictates the present. Our sense of freedom might just be our brain's way of making sense of a journey whose path is already laid out. We feel like we are steering, but we are really just passengers on a train that is following a fixed track. But here is where it gets interesting. Even if our path is predetermined, our experience of it is not. The destination might be set, but how we travel is up to us. We can go through life kicking and screaming, feeling like victims of fate. Or we can choose to walk the path with awareness, with grace, with a desire to learn from the scenery. Perhaps free will isn't about changing the outcome, but about changing ourselves. It's about choosing our attitude. It's about deciding to be kind, to be loving, to be understanding, even when the script calls for hardship. That, perhaps, is the only true freedom we have. Look around the world. It's impossible to ignore the staggering inequality. A child is born in a war-torn country, knowing only fear and hunger. Another is born into a life of unimaginable privilege, with every door open to them. How can anyone look at this and call it fair? How can we reconcile the idea of a just universe with the reality of such random, brutal luck? We see good people suffer terrible illnesses, while corrupt individuals seem to prosper without consequence. It's the oldest question in the book. Why do bad things happen to good people? Think of a story like Nikola Tesla's, a brilliant mind who envisioned a future of free, wireless energy for all. He gave so much to the world, yet he died penniless and alone. On the other hand, you see people who build fortunes by exploiting others, and they live out their days in luxury. It feels fundamentally wrong. It shakes our faith in justice, in fairness, in the idea that the world makes any sense at all. It's these moments of profound injustice that lead people to despair, to believe that life is just a cruel random lottery, a cosmic joke with a terrible punchline. This is where the idea of life as an afterlife, or a place of karmic balancing, offers a different lens, a very different lens. It doesn't erase the pain or the injustice of the moment, but it places it within a much larger context. What if the suffering we see is not the whole story? What if it's just one page in a very long book? From this viewpoint, the person born into hardship might be an old soul working through a profound spiritual debt, and the person born into luxury might be facing a great test of character. Will they use their privilege for good, or will they create negative karma for a future life? The idea of karma suggests that no one gets away with anything. Not really. The universal scales of justice may operate on a timeline far longer than a single human life. The consequences might not be immediate, but they are inevitable. The person who suffers unjustly in this life may be balancing their cosmic ledger, preparing for a future existence of peace and wisdom. The unfairness that we see, which feels so sharp and so final, might just be a temporary state. It's a way of looking at the world that doesn't demand that everything be fair right now. It trusts that in the grand scheme of things, everything will be balanced. So if we tie all these threads together, the feeling that life is more than it seems, the concept of karma, the scientific questions about free will, and the problem of injustice, we arrive at a powerful conclusion. Perhaps Earth is not a beginning or an end. Perhaps it is an intermediate stage, a school, a training ground for the soul, a place where we are sent to learn the lessons we couldn't or wouldn't learn elsewhere. It's not a punishment, but an opportunity, a chance to grow. In this school, the curriculum is life itself. Every relationship, every job, every joy, and every sorrow is a lesson. The people who hurt us are our most difficult teachers, forcing us to learn forgiveness. The moments of failure teach us humility. The times of loss teach us what truly matters. We are all enrolled in this school together, but we are each on our own individual learning path. Your final exam is not about how much money you made or how famous you became. It's about how much you learned, how much your soul evolved. This perspective can change the way we live our daily lives. Instead of seeing life as a competition, we can see it as a collaboration. We are all just students helping each other with our homework. Instead of fearing failure, we can embrace it as a necessary part of the learning process. We can approach suffering not with bitterness, but with curiosity. What is this pain teaching me? How can this challenge make me stronger, wiser, and more compassionate? It reframes our entire existence from a struggle for survival into a quest for understanding. In the end, maybe the point of it all is simply this: to learn, to grow, to become a better version of ourselves. Maybe we are here to experience the full spectrum of what it means to be human, the love and the loss, the joy and the pain. And through it all, we slowly, painstakingly polish our souls. So the next time you look at the world and feel that sense of confusion, take a breath and consider that you might be exactly where you need to be. In a classroom disguised as a planet, on a journey much longer and more meaningful than you can possibly imagine. And the most important lesson is always love.